So if you haven't invested in ketchup suppliers, you should probably start now because the ketchup is flying. Bone Spurs' approval ratings are at record lows. New Quinnipiac polling, CNN polling, YouGov polling, and other AP Noric polling are all saying the same thing. People are not liking what Bone Spurs is doing as president. With only 32% approval in the Quinnipiac poll, 34% approval in both the CNN and YouGov poll, and 33% approval in the AP poll. These are presenting record lows for the POS and thief. In actuality, he hasn't been this low since the J6 insurrection, with 58% disapproval in the Quinnipiac poll and 66% disapproval in the CNN poll.
A whopping 73% of American adults polled say the president has not paid enough attention to the country's most important problems. That's a record number of discontented Americans. Trump's overall approval ratings has slipped to just 34%. His approval rating hasn't been this low since just after the January 6th attack on the Capitol. So the question remains, will his party end up paying a price for all this come November? CNN Washington Bureau Chief and Political Director David Chalian joining us now. David, give us some sense of what is kind of behind these really bad numbers for the president.
Yeah, you noted the 34% overall job approval, Sarah. I want you to look at the intensity that is behind that. We asked folks not just do you approve or disapprove, but do you strongly disapprove, strongly approve? And take a look here at the disparity between those that say they strongly approve of the president's job performance. Only 15% of Americans now say that. That's down from just a year ago in our polling as well. And look at that bottom number. Half the country, half of Americans in this poll, they don't just disapprove of Donald Trump, they strongly disapprove of Donald Trump. So the intensity of the disapproval is like more than 3 to 1 more intense than what you see on the intensity of the approval. His own fellow partisans, Republicans, their assessment of his performance, only 78% of Republicans now approve of Donald Trump's job performance. That is a numeric low for Donald Trump in his entire career, both terms, among his fellow Republicans. And we looked at one of the key components of his coalition, his winning coalition, white, non-college educated Americans. He won 2/3 of them in 2024 against Kamala Harris, and now a majority, 54%, disapprove. Only 46% of white non-college Americans, a key part of his base, are actually in approval of the job performance he's doing, Sarah.
Now, you know you are doing something incredibly wrong when you are losing the white, non-college educated vote. As y'all just heard, more people disapprove of him in that base than actually approve of him. That's not good. And even though his base still approves of him at 78%, which is, to me, diabolical, only 15% of people strongly approve, which is telling. But the consensus seems to be among everybody, right, left, and center, that the Bone Spurs administration isn't doing enough to tackle the issues that we have here at home. Not like he gave us any inkling that he was going to do that during the 2024 campaign. But they somehow tricked themselves into thinking that that was what he was going to do, and the polls are showing that they're not happy.
There is not an issue tested where he has majority support, but the major driving issues of the day, Iran, inflation, gas prices, they are at the bottom of the list. On those three issues, he does not even crack 30% approval. So he's underperforming on the most prominent issues of the day than his overall approval. I mean, on gas prices, 21% approval. Inflation, the issue that sort of brought him back to the Oval Office, he promised to lower prices. He's only at 25% approval. And so even if you look at the top, like immigration, one of his former strong suits, he still only sits at 39% approval. So there's not an issue where he can sort of tout as a major success. But really troubling for him and his party is that we know the economy is issue number one, and he is just very, very low in those numbers on that issue.
So we have a situation where Bone Spurs and the administration, as well as the Republicans who are enabling him, are sitting at record disapprovals. During an election year, it is clear that everybody, right, left, and center, think that they are not dealing with the issues of the day that are facing us here right now in our own homes, on our own soil, in our own neighborhoods, in the American society. Everybody is focused over there in other countries doing other things, but nobody is actually facing the situation that we have here at home. And this is what is concerning about that, because even though that is what people are saying that they want, the predicted outcomes for the midterms is still way too close for my liking. Experts do still predict, even though they did that whole gerrymandering thing in the South and all of that, they still predict that the Democrats are poised to win back the House. They do not predict, however, that the Democrats will get the Senate. Right now, the consensus is that the Democrats will not get the Senate, that the Republicans will hold on to the majority in the Senate. That's diabolical to me.
Trump voter critic have actually come out to say her mind. In fact, it took her more than 5 minutes to express how she feels about this whole Republican and the Democrats. That if you are to vote next time, you vote with your brain. Vote, think and vote. Don't just vote because of the silly promise the person made to you. Vote because you want to vote. Vote with your mind intact. That is exactly what she's trying to say here. Now, from the poll that she showcased, that was also showcased in CNN, it's indeed showing that the job rate is so low. That is to show you guys that people are suffering. Imagine a graduate, imagine someone that comes out from school without a job. What do you expect? The crime rate is going to be high. The crime rate is going to be so high. People are not living the life they're supposed to live right now. People are managing. People are living from hand to mouth. And it wasn't like this before. That is just what is happening right now in USA.
Because people are saying that the Republicans are not doing what the Republicans should be doing. However, on the Democratic side, there is an issue as well. Because the Democrats that are speaking to the issues here at home, they are being chastised and ousted, essentially, because they are not doing enough and not speaking enough and not prioritizing enough about is not so real and that whole situation over there in that region. So you have a situation where the Republicans don't give a crap about what's going on here at home. And then you have a movement against the Democrats who would rather focus on things here at home. As if allowing America to fall apart and the people within to fall apart is going to do anything at all to help that region. Because of this, it breeds an attitude of my vote doesn't matter. When there is a faction on the left or the right that has this idea that no matter how you vote, the powers that be will always be the powers, it creates a situation that disenfranchises people because they end up disenfranchising themselves. The fact that Bone Spurs and the Republicans in an election year are so far underwater, yet so close still to the Democratic Party when it comes to their ability to hold on to the Congress, the House and the Senate, that's diabolical to me. Because I'm not sure that the people, the voters, are understanding their power. And the ones who do understand their power are using it in the wrong ways.
For a country as big as USA, you have to know your power as a voter. Whomsoever you vote is the person that will enter there. Not like undeveloped countries that you'll be like, your voting doesn't count. Your vote actually counts in the USA. So if you know your power as a voter, you use it so well.
They are using it to do more harm than good on both sides. Because not only are the Republican voters getting rid of all of the Republicans that make an inkling of sense, the Democratic voters, in their efforts, are getting rid of some of their strongest players, some of their most fearless leaders, and some of our best politicians, while keeping politicians like a Hakeem Jeffries, like a Chuck Schumer, not even putting anybody up to challenge them, yet getting rid of some of our most independent logical thinkers, all because they are not willing to blow up the system and harm the American people on the basis of is not so real. It's a problem, and it's a problem that is going to show itself in the midterms if we don't get it together. This is a time where critical thinking needs to top emotion. And there are less than 100 days to get this right. So make sure you do your research. And I'm not talking about do your social media research. No, do your actual research about the politicians that you are voting for in your districts, in your state. Form your own opinions based on what you see from their websites. Make sure you and a friend are registered to vote. And when early voting starts, vote early. Act like early voting is the actual voting time and not the day of. Be ready for some buffoonery, because buffoonery will be afoot. I cannot say this enough. With the disapproval ratings of the Republicans right now, the Democrats should be throwing up layups when it comes to these elections. The fact that it is still so close speaks more to me about the voters than the politicians themselves. And that is because the voters are the ones that actually have the power. They are the ones who are in control of who is the politicians. So until we start blaming the right people for the wrong people being in office, the wrong people in office will continue to be there.
If the right thing is not done, the wrong people will keep occupying the position. The wrong people will keep ruling the country. The wrong people will keep doing what they like and getting away with it, just like Trump is doing right now. Special credit to this lady for making use of her video. It is solely for educational purposes and also for analysis. Yes, she actually said her mind. She said it as it is. She, in fact, made her point so well, clear and explicit, in a way that you will understand. She did not mince words here. She did not mince words here at all. The unemployment rate in the USA is so poor, like she said. The poll, it has been done in all cities in the USA, and this statistics has been drawn out that this is actually what is going on, and it came from CNN. Anyway, guys, if you have watched up to this point, thank you so much for watching. Stick to this channel. We'll be giving you the latest regarding USA, what is happening, what is trending in the USA. Like, share, and comment.